Lakewood Ranch was ranked the #1 multi-generational community in the country again, 7 years in a row. But what no one is talking about, behind the awards, behind the lifestyle, and the sales reports, it is a storm. Inventory is doubled, price cuts are everywhere, and buyers and sellers are further apart than ever before. So, what's really going on behind the gates of America's favorite place to call home? Lakewood Ranch isn't just another neighborhood. It's over 30,000 acres of meticulously planned parks and trails and town centers and top-tier schools and homes that truly fit every lifestyle. More families, retirees, professionals, and investors are choosing Lakewood Ranch more than anywhere else in the country. But today's story isn't just about how great life is here. It's about what's happening under the surface, because in the past, say 6 or 12 months, something definitely has changed. And if you are planning to buy or sell or relocate or invest in Florida real estate in 2025, you need to hear this. Okay, let's talk about what everyone's whispering about. The market, it is shifting. Nobody wants to say it out loud, but it's happening, and it is happening fast. Inventory in Lakewood Ranch has more than doubled year over year. Streets that were once quiet now have for sale signs lined up like dominoes. Homes that used to get bidding wars are now getting lowball offers, if they're getting any offers at all. We are seeing that firsthand. Home prices, which have climbed month after month for years, have started to slide hard. The median sale price is actually down 14% in just 4 months. That is not a blip. That's not a seasonal pause. That is a correction, and it's already underway. But the headlines, they haven't caught up yet. And many sellers, they are still clinging to this fantasy pricing. Meanwhile, mortgage rates are hovering just about 7%. That alone is killing affordability. Then add to that the skyrocketing insurance premiums, growing HOA fees, and property taxes that no longer reflect reality. Buyers are hitting the brakes. This is the new storm: unrealistic sellers, fatigued buyers, and homes that are stuck in limbo. Everybody's watching, everybody's waiting. But what if the wait and see moment has already passed us by? All right, so let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about Lakewood Ranch. This is about Florida. Just about all of Florida, and the signs are flashing red. There are 177,000 homes on the market. It is the most recorded ever, and that is more inventory that we saw in the 2008 crash. Why? Because migration wave that once fueled Florida's boom has crashed. Migration to the state is down a staggering 80% from the pandemic peak. We spent 3 years building for buyers who aren't coming, and now the homes are here, but the buyers aren't. That demand-supply imbalance doesn't just flatten prices, it pressures them hard. Florida home buyers are now spending about 39% of their income just to cover the mortgages and property taxes. That is higher than anything we saw in 2006, 7, or 8. We're not just in a correction, we're walking right into a potential unraveling. So, what happens when out-of-state buyers slow down and local buyers are financially locked out? Stagnation, panic, price cuts. This is where the rubber meets the road, where overconfident sellers meet reality, and where buyers unsure of when to act wait just long enough to miss out on real opportunities. So what comes next? That is the $1 million question, or maybe the $100,000 price drop question. Just kidding. So here's why I think it's going to be a problem in Lakewood Ranch. We're already seeing more builder incentives, more rate buy downs, more seller credits. Some builders are offering $50,000 design credits. Others throwing in free pools, closing costs, even appliance packages just to get contracts signed. The incentives are loud, the buyer's interest is soft, and while some homes are still commanding strong prices, others are being marked down in quiet desperation. Not once, not twice, but again and again and again. And here's where it gets real. A growing number of sellers are chasing the market down. It starts with wishful thinking. List high, assume the right buyer will eventually show up. Then comes silence, no showings, no interest, crickets. Then the first price drop, then another, and another, until a $900,000 listing becomes $799 and then $749, and it still sits. And this is what is known as price lag. Sellers reacting to the market after it's moved on without them. If you're a seller right now, this is what you must understand. Overpricing your home is not just risky, it's kind of dangerous, because the longer it sits, the staler your listing becomes, and the buyers, they start to notice. They start to wonder, what is wrong with it? Why hasn't it sold? Will the price drop more? And the worst part, the first 10 to 14 days on the market are your most powerful. And if you miss that window, you're already playing catch up. In today's market, you don't get a second chance for that first impression. You've heard that before, right? Okay, now let's be clear. This isn't all doom and gloom. It kind of seems like it. Lakewood Ranch is still outperforming much of Florida, period. While other markets are still sliding into standstill, demand in Lakewood Ranch still remains fairly high in the right communities, for the right homes at the right price. We're still seeing solid activity for well-priced, move-in ready homes in high-demand neighborhoods. Buyers still want to live the lifestyle, they just want to feel like they're getting a fair deal. New villages are still launching with fresh models. And in Lakewood Ranch, they are still building new communities. I want to say there's about 20 villages under construction. Some of them have better models, better amenities, better pricing, from bundled golf to maintenance-free communities to resort-style 55-plus communities. Developers are not slowing down. In fact, infrastructure is kind of ramping up. There's going to be over 15 miles of new roads being added this year. New parks, more trails, new schools. There's a new high school being built in Lakewood Ranch. There's actually going to be a new hospital campus at Lakewood Ranch Memorial Hospital. And then beyond the real estate numbers, life here, still pretty good. It's actually really good. Paddleboarding before work, lunch at Waterside Place, watching the sunset from your lanai. That doesn't change just because mortgage rates have ticked up. So Lakewood Ranch still continues to be one of the most livable, accessible, and lifestyle-driven communities in the entire country. And in a time when many buyers are overwhelmed by uncertainty, that kind of stability and consistency is exactly what people are searching for. But if I'm being honest, the frenzy, that part, it's over. The foundation is stronger than ever, but that frenzy, it is long gone. Last year, nearly half of the homes that sold in Lakewood Ranch were to move-up buyers and to multi-generational families. These are households that are combining generations, investing in larger homes, and betting long-term on Florida, specifically Lakewood Ranch. Roughly 23% of sales were entry-level homes, a segment that continues to draw first-time buyers and young families eager to get into Lakewood Ranch, even if they have to compromise on space and the finishes. Even the luxury segment showed strength. Homes that were priced over $3 million are still seeing movement, particularly when they offer something unique like gated privacy, modern design, or a signature golf view. But here's the challenge: affordability. The average home size in Lakewood Ranch now is over 2,300 square feet. But that extra space, it comes at a cost when you factor in your HOA fees, the rising insurance premiums, property taxes, mortgage rates hovering around 7%. The total cost of ownership has ballooned, often adding like $800 to about $1,500 more per month than just 2 years ago. That is forcing a market divide. Cash buyers, investors, and financially strong households are still transacting. They're still upgrading, they're still relocating, just not as many. And now they're being picky. They're not paying COVID home prices. But everyone else, they're pausing. Some are waiting on that interest rate cuts that may or may not come. I'm not expecting them to come, not this year. Others are simply just priced out. This growing affordability gap is reshaping the conversation around what value means in Lakewood Ranch. It's no longer about just square footage. It's about monthly reality. And until that shifts, expect continued hesitation from anybody without deep financial footing. Okay, so what should you do if you're thinking about buying or selling in 2025? All right, so let's start with you buyers. If you're a buyer, my suggestion, don't wait around hoping for a dramatic market crash that may never come. Why? Because crashes, they're rare. Corrections are common, and the biggest mistake buyers make is waiting too long. Focus on the fundamentals: value, location, and your monthly affordability. Can you comfortably hold this property through market shifts? If yes, you're on stronger footing than most. Understand that you have leverage. Right now, builders and sellers are more flexible than they have been in years. You can ask for rate buydowns, closing costs, even appliance upgrades in some cases. Be ready to act fast on well-priced homes. Don't confuse a slow market with a low competition one, because good homes still move quickly. They have to be priced right. Know the difference between price and cost. A higher interest rate doesn't automatically make the home unaffordable, especially if you can negotiate incentives. Now, if you're a seller, price your home based on where the market is headed, not to where it was. Look at what actually sold in the last 60 days, not what your neighbor listed for 6 months ago. Prep your home like you're launching a new product. Clean, declutter, stage. Small updates can make a massive difference. Invest in great photos and videos and marketing. The days of lazy listings getting multiple offers, they are over. You have to be honest with yourself about timing. If your home is not turnkey, or if you're overpriced, expect longer days on the market. That is just the reality of where we are. Don't get emotionally attached to your asking price. The market does not care what you need or what you paid for it. It only cares about what buyers are willing to pay today. Now more than ever, you have to partner with a real estate agent who understands a shifting market, not just a hot one, because strategy matters more than ever. Find an agent who's going to be honest with you and straightforward with you. And now I'm going to tell you something that you might be surprised about. There are over 10,000 real estate agents in Sarasota Manatee, many desperate for a paycheck. They may just tell you whatever it is that you want to hear just to get your listing. So whether you're buying a home or selling a home, the best move right now is to be informed, be realistic, and be flexible. That's how you win in this market. Don't get me wrong, Lakewood Ranch still remains one of the most desirable communities in the country. That hasn't changed. But what has changed is how real estate works right here. The buyer frenzy, it's gone. The overconfidence, it's fading. And a cold reality is setting in. The market is not crashing yet, but it's recalibrating. And the people who don't adapt quickly, they're going to be left behind. They're going to try to sell in yesterday's pricing. Affordability is the headwind. Inventory is the wave, and confusion, it is everywhere. Buyers are nervous, sellers are frustrated, builders are adjusting, and yet life goes on. Deals still happen every day. Communities are still growing, and people are still moving here for one reason or another. So yes, there's reason for concern, but also just a little bit of glimmer of hope. For those who are informed, realistic, proactive, this market still offers opportunity. The question isn't, will the market bounce back? It's who will be ready when it does. If you want to talk through your options as a buyer or as a seller or a future resident, our contact information is down below. There's no pressure. There's no sales pitch, just honest local insight, because in a market of uncertainty, you don't need hype. You need clarity.